guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is also a little bit different and it's another craft type thing. My dad is a doctor, so I wanted to try and make some masks. I know that they are running low and there is such a chance that they will completely run out, so I figured getting a head start would be a good idea. I did have to go into Walmart for some other supplies, so I hit up their craft section and picked up some tightly woven cotton, and I am following a pattern that I found on NBC, and it's super simple, and all of the reasoning for why they have you doing each step is very obvious and apparent, and I think it's a great way to hopefully help out a little bit in this crazy time. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and just keep watching. All right, so with this pattern, you really only need two different materials. You will need a tightly woven fabric, cotton preferably, and then you will also need some elastic beading cord or even just flat elastic, but it did recommend the beading cord. So I did go ahead and pick up some beading cord, and then they did not have a ton of this left over. This is pretty much all, so I went ahead and got 2 packages so that I can try to use this woven stuff first. I feel like it would be more comfortable. I did go ahead and just grab fat quarters and some cool prints. They do ask that the prints be different enough front and back that the healthcare workers can know right away what part has been against their mouth and what part has been towards the patient. Yeah, and it needs to be able to be machine wash on hot. I just got some fun stuff. My dad loves Star Wars. I thought that this Winnie the Pooh is really cute. Flowers, some solids, and then just this like faith and love one. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting and sewing. So I started out by unwrapping my fabric and putting the right side in to right side in so that it'll be ready for me to sew. That's how you want to sew it. So then when you flip it right side out, then the patterns are on both sides, or the pattern, because in this case, one of these is a solid. The pattern calls for the mask to be 9 inches by 6 inches of this tightly woven cotton. Obviously an N95 respirator is what's best, but at this point we need what we can take, and the CDC is recommending this tightly woven cotton, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. Okay, so now that I have my fabric cut, it's 9 inches long by 6 inches wide, I went ahead and cut 2 pieces of elastic. They ask for these to be 7 inches long, and then I will need to knot the ends of them so that they won't unravel or pull from the seam. I knotted each end of my elastic, and now I'm ready to pin this and begin sewing. Now that I have this pinned, it's ready to be sewn. So I'm going to go ahead and begin in this corner, and then I'm going to tack the elastic, and then I will wait, leave a gap on the side, and go ahead and tack it in the other corner so that then I can push the elastic through and it will be on the correct side when we flip it, and then I'll finish up that edge and do lengthwise as well. Okay, so you all saw that on hyper speed when I was sewing, but really in reality, it probably took me about 5 minutes, and that was my first time. I'm nervous to see how it actually turns out, but this is what I did, and then I'll flip it and we'll see, can see how it went. When I attached the elastic, I attached it on the outside of the mask, and then I stopped. I double sewed both corners with the elastic and stopped, and then I shoved the rest of the elastic inside so it will be on the outside then when we flip it, and then I finished off the seam. And then when I was finishing the seam, I did go ahead and use a pin to pin the actual elastic right here so that it wouldn't get caught in any of my stitching. And down here I left about an inch long gap for me to then flip the mask. And here's to hoping that I figured out this pattern. First attempt, I think it actually went pretty well. I definitely need to press this, and then I need to sew around it twice to make it more secure, but honestly, it did turn out pretty well, and it works. So I'm super excited to give this to my dad, and I will come back and show you guys the final product after I finish resewing it and pressing. So I finished it up. I did go ahead and press it, and then I sewed around the outside twice like it asked me to in the pattern, and I think it turned out really well. When I sewed around the outside, I did go ahead and just do a regular tight stitch, and then I did like a zigzag stitch across that to help hold it even tighter. All right guys, that is it for this video. I hope that this was helpful if you were trying to make masks. It's one step in the right direction. I know that right now is a really scary time, and I feel like now more than ever we need to be supporting one another and finding ways to help even when we are inside our houses. So that's what I did today, and if you made it to the end of this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.